Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and today I have a triple header for y'all. These three knives might not have gotten a review otherwise, so I just decided they deserved a review, and we're going to go through each one of them. I'm going to give y'all my thoughts and opinions, and y'all stay tuned. Alright, first knife we have up is a Spyderco Sage 5, lightweight, compression lock, and this is a Blade HQ exclusive. You can get it in this black blade, which is kind of like a gun bluing finish almost, very nice looking. M4 steel, lightweight configuration, like I just said, compression lock. It's got the bi-directional texturing, black hardware and black clip that match the blade, very nicely done. The Sage has always been a good slicer. You got the full flat grind, and the M4 steel lasts, and it's very, very tough as well. I love M4, especially when it's coated, because I live in the South, so being it's a non-stainless tool steel, you definitely need to either take care of it or get something that is coated so you don't have to worry about it as much. If you've never owned a Sage series knife, the ergonomics on the Sage are outstanding, especially in this choke up grip right there. You get a full forward finger choil, nice and comfortable. You can either, choke back like this so you can pinch and get a nice good grip there, or up here as well. These FRN scales on here really lighten up the knife very much so, and there's no hard edges right here, so I find it a lot more comfortable than some of the other Sages. It could just be me, but very nice feel in the hand. And the action just blew me away out of the box. This is how it came. Absolutely no messing with it. Spotty flick it easily. Very, very nicely done. And the centering is pretty darn close. It looks like it may be to the right, just a hair. I have been using it a lot, so maybe it's loosened up. I'm not too sure. No scarring yet on the blade that I've noticed. Just a very nice offering from Spyderco. They did a great job on this one. I wasn't really sure about the lightweight factor, because I usually don't like the FRN Spydercos that much. I usually change them to some other scales, but I was just so surprised on how much I like this. It stayed in the pocket pretty much every day since I've gotten it. Sometimes it was my backup blade. Just depends. It is tip up, left or right-handed, deep carry pocket clip, rides nicely, and sitting on that little logo right there, it doesn't get caught up in this bi-directional texturing. You do get a very good grip there. The scales aren't dainty. You can't really flex them that well. And let's see if I can show in here. You do have stainless steel liners that have been skeletonized, and they're nested inside the FRN scales. Very nicely done. You even have these little holes. I don't know if that's to lighten it up a little bit, but cool regardless. So the Spyderco Sage 5, definitely one I recommend if you haven't tried out a Sage and you want a nice lightweight. I think this is, in my opinion, is one of my favorite Spydercos. I would carry this over the Power 3. I carry it over the PM2. Now, I know some people love those two and they would never stray from that, but after using this for as much as I have, I've had so many of these, and this one actually took the place of my Sage 5 in Maximet, just because I don't know, I kind of prefer the M4. Maximet's just a finicky steel, and it's not like I'm going to sell the Maximet Sage, but this one has kicked it out of the pocket for now. Next up is the Miguron Keryx, I think it's called. I will put it up here on the screen. This is the first Miguron that I enjoyed from beginning to finish. It's not perfect, but this was a step in the right direction for me, because I've had bad experiences with the three budget-friendly ones that I've had. Just they weren't up to par, and I was always wanting them to step it up a little bit, and I could have just had a bad knife. But this one, it seems like they did a good job of stepping up the quality control on it. M390 blade steel. I love that blade shape. This one is coated. I don't think you can get it in a non-coated blade. I did a lot of testing with this one. and it performed just, fine. It's ground decently thin. I think it's like 17 thousandths behind the edge. You have a nice sharpening choil, functional blade hole, and the action is outstanding. You can get to that blade hole on both sides, but I will say it is right hand tip up only. Definitely think they could have, done something for the lefties there, but I don't design them. Action is awesome, very nice and snappy. It is a front flipper as well. It's one problem that I did notice with this knife, that the front flipper sticks up a little too high for me, and if I had my hands right here, whenever I go to kick the knife out, it would hit my finger and it would stop right there. I've done it so many times, but now I have kind of learned where I need to have my hands whenever I do that front flipper, and I don't have as much problem with it anymore. It wasn't really an issue for me because I don't really like front flippers. If there's a secondary opening method, that's usually how I will open it, and that's pretty much what I saw here. You can thumb flick it as well. Detent's dialed in nicely for all the opening methods. I had no problems. This particular one has the blue carbon fiber inlay. It's like hints of blue, like right there, and then just regular carbon fiber. Another thing that I noticed on the QC front on this knife is whenever I got the knife, I'm guessing that they're gluing these inlays in and then putting the pivot screw, because I had some glue up here that I had to scrape off, and I don't know if you can see that right here, but this inlay is a little bit short. You can see some, I can see some light underneath there. Not the biggest deal. It's not hurting any of the functionality, and also had some glue right there. You can see where I scraped on it to get it off. It was epoxy, and then on this side you can see big time right here. You can still see some of the epoxy right there. Yep. Now that's just at the price tag of this knife. It's just not something that you should let it go out. I think it's an attractive knife. The ergos were good in pretty much all. Choke back right here is good. But the sweet spot right here is that choke up grip. It's not a huge forward choil, fits my fingers just nicely, but if you have bigger fingers, bigger hands, this might be an issue for you to do the choke up position. You might have to just kind of grab it toward the back of there. I don't know, I can only speak for, how it felt in my hands. Nice chamfering all the way around. The handle is done nicely, besides the things I talked about on the carbon fiber. I love how in these holes you can see the diamond patterning from the lightning pockets. They didn't just do regular lightning pockets that you could see through these holes, being that that's basically a window through there. They put some diamond texturing underneath there. Kind of looks like 1911 grips, the same type of texturing they have. Nicely done. You have the milled titanium pocket clip. It works okay. You don't have a whole lot of space underneath there. I didn't have much problems with it. I did have on a thicker pair of pants one day, and it was a little bit difficult to get it underneath that that ramp right there. I like the hardware T8, and I love how they use those panhead screws. They're pretty close to being countersunk. They're not. You can see they are a little bit proud right here sitting up. You have a titanium backspacer with a geared pattern that is flush with the liner, so you don't feel that. You do have a lanyard hole. It is kind of small for all you lanyard people. I don't know if you could fit 550. I'm sure you could make it work behind there, but I'm not really a lanyard guy. I like the cutouts like this. I think it looks nice, especially if you're not going to do it on the inside. I think that looks nicer. And the over travel is basically this carbon fiber piece right here. As you can see, you can put pressure that way. You don't have to worry about overextending that lock bar. Also going to give you a place to put your finger, so you're not pushing on that lock bar. You're holding on there. So whenever you're front flipping it, you don't really have to worry about putting pressure on the lock bar and any of the opening methods. That's always a pain with titanium frame locks. Also, your hardware for the stainless steel lock insert is hidden because of this. I think that's another nice feature of that little inlay right there. The fitment on this side, I'm trying to see, I know it was a little bit shy up here, but I don't recall. I mean, I know that's nasty looking right there, but it looks like it's a little bit better. The top, I mean, let's see, it's like tight on this side and this side, then it's like loose on the top right here and right here. You know, not the end of the world, but like I said, it's not a cheap knife. You do have the Miguron branded pivot that is nice and nicely done. It's not completely flush. It does sit proud of the scales just a little bit, but ergos is what's nice on this. The action's also what's nice, very nice and smooth action. And the M390 held up well. I didn't have any issues with it. It's dropped back up nicely. The coating held up. Let's see, I don't think might have a little bit going through right there. I'm not sure. I could probably wipe that off. Nothing that I see. No permanent, and none of the coating coming off at the edges where you usually start to see it first. So I'm not sure what type of coating that is, but it held up fine. I don't think I said it before, but this knife comes in at $189, and that's why I was talking about that glue coming out the side right there. Just not something you want to see on a $189 knife. Should be more refined than that. The action is there, the ergos are there, the steel is there. Like I said, this was the first one that kind of got me excited, made me decide to order another one of their higher end knives. It should be here in the next week or two. It takes about a month to get here from China. Hopefully more companies will start carrying their knives. I think you can get them on White Mountain Knives. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure you can. You can get them on eBay, but a lot of those are coming from overseas as well. So there you go. That is a Miguron Knives Keryx, I think it is. Next up is a design exclusive to Urban EDC. This is the Nessie. This particular one is in this green micarta with the black micarta backspacer and the titanium frame lock side with the milled titanium pocket clip. Pocket clip is pretty darn stiff. That's one thing that I don't love about the knife. And right off the back, I can show you another thing that has bugged me pretty darn bad is how this flipper tab is set up. First off, it's so far back, and you see how it kind of ramps up right there, that little nub right there. It's not super sharp, but it's just not the most comfortable after flipping it for a while. Now the action is outstanding. It is a nice free dropper because of that big wide Nesmuk style blade. It's a good slicer. It came in at $239 for this variation. You can also get it with the all titanium one, I think it was $299. Don't quote me on that. I'll put it up on the screen if it's different. But I like a lot of stuff that Urban EDC puts out, like the Vox 5.5. I thought that was an outstanding knife, still do. And when I saw this for pre-order, I decided to jump on it. You got some nice jimping up here that is placed nicely, so your thumb is going to land on that. You have a bunch of belly right here, so it's going to be a good slicer, food prep, or if you're going to bring this out in the woods and process some game, it's going to be nice. The action is very, very nice on it, even though the flipper tab just kind of bugs me. Do have a sharpening tool that does clear that plunge line pretty nicely. You should be able to sharpen it up a couple of times before you run into the full thickness of that plunge. You got a nice finishing on here, satin, horizontal satin on the flats, and a nice stonewash finish on the primary grind and on this top swedge that is a very nice touch. I don't know exactly who made these for them. Could not get that out of them, so if you want to leave it, but if you say be for sure, I'm not gonna pin your comment if it's not a certainty. It's well made, I will say that. The steel held up decently fine. Blade steel I think is M390. If that is wrong, I'll also put that on the screen. One thing that I did notice, and I was kind of worried whenever I saw it in the pictures, anytime you have these designated choils like that, it can always be really bad for the person getting it if they don't have the right hand size. Now, for the most part, I was able to get my finger right there and put my finger, spread them and put them behind there. Feels a little awkward, but I can get it done. I did notice that the back side of this flipper tab did kind of bother my hand a little bit, just depending on how I was cutting. When I did the wood cutting with this, I noticed that, you know, in just grabbing it, that this finger was landing right here, and then sometimes this one would land right here, and just an uncomfortable spot. It's not like super sharp, but you know, anytime you have this hump up here and you got some metal right there, it's not going to be that comfortable. That said, all my normal EDC chores, you know, that it wasn't an issue. More so in the wood carving and stuff like that. These deep chamfers on both sides make it comfortable to hold, especially you have a thicker handle scale. The weight's, in my opinion, nice. The balance point is right where you'd want it to be, right here, right behind that flipper tab. It is riding on bearings. The lockup is sitting at around, I don't know, 40%, 30%, somewhere in there. You do have a steel lock interface, hardened lock interface, so you don't have to worry about it wearing any quicker than normal. You do have little cutouts on both sides, and it's done good. It's done well. It's wide enough here that I can get my finger in there, and it's not an issue, even though it is the same height as the show side scale. The tension on that lock bar is nice. You don't have any play in any direction. It's pretty much a bank vault to lock up there. Overall, I like the look of the design. I love the Nessie design. The handle ergos were good. It slices well. Just those few things just have been bugging me, especially the flipper tab, you know, with that ramp up right there. Just kind of, it'll definitely bother you. Well, it bothers me. I'm not going to say it'll bother you. It bothered me, you know, after repeated flipping. And this spot right here is another, you know, issue for me. Now, what do I think it's, you know, enough of an issue that you shouldn't buy it? No, you know, I think you will learn how to flip this to where it's not, you know, super uncomfortable or anything. I was thinking about, you know, chopping this off and putting me a thumb stud right here. I don't know, the detent is dialed in for that flipper, so I don't know if it'd be too strong for thumb studs, but that was just something I had. How do y'all feel about this black on the green? I don't know. I don't think I like that much. The contrast, I don't think, is there. I would rather see it either the same color, the same green micarta to go with it, or maybe a titanium backspacer or some standoffs. I don't know. Just something that kind of visually bugged me. But the micarta is very nice. It's not the cheap looking micarta, and you get a nice huge slab of that. No liners on the show side because you don't need that. Like, you're not flexing that micarta when it's that thick, and then you still have that massive thickness on the titanium as well. You do have some weight relieving pockets on the lock side, if you can see that in there. Like I said, the weight is not that bad. You would expect it to be a lot more with such a huge chunk of steel right there. So overall, I like the knife. I don't know, the flipper tab is just I don't know, a mistake in my opinion, and these choils, you know, just for my hands, it didn't work. Alrighty, I hope y'all enjoyed that video. If y'all have any questions about any one of the knives in particular, feel free to ask me down below. I will do my best to answer y'all. Let me know what y'all thought about this format, you know, on knives that I might not have been able to get to if I didn't do this. If y'all like this, I will keep doing this whenever it is necessary. If not, I'll just skip them and move on along to the stuff that I am working on in the process. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody is having an absolute wonderful day. Today's my birthday, so I'm going to enjoy it with my family, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.